The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Hip Fab Christian, featuring weekly roundtable discussions and in-depth interviews with today's most influential faith-driven talent. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, Hip Fab Christian.
What's up?
All right, what's going on? Hold on, I'm waiting for that music there. There we go. Now just glide with it. There it goes. There it goes. Just glide with it. Hey, 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 hey,
Lean with
hey.
it, rock with it, lean with it, rock with
If you're
it.
feeling real good, say praise him.
Praise him.
Praise him.
Praise him.
Oh, okay, and it just came to it.
It's done.
Well, when it comes to praising him, there's definitely no shortage of that here. This is Hip Fab Christian here on BHL. I am Mr. Kevin John, one of your co-hosts, and keeping it hip is the one, the only Lem over there who is joining us.
What's
Give it
up, everybody? How you doing? Praise him.
Praise him. There you go. Praise him. Now, Lem's keeping it hip and keeping it fab is the one and only Miss Megan Skizoo.
What's up? It's me, Megan Thomas. So glad you guys could join us yet again.
Well, it's always so glad to be in your presence. Indeed.
Thank you.
And we are so blessed and honored
Extremely
and privileged.
blessed. Super privileged.
Super privileged.
Yes.
To have such just an esteemed, prestigious guest here joining us in the
Anointed.
studio. Well,
Yeah. Hey.
Keep going, keep going.
yes, indeed. She is a entrepreneur. She is a reality TV personality. She is a mother, and she is a God-fearing woman.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you can
Yes.
ladies
Praise
and-
him.
Right.
There you go. Already. It's just the
Not that
spirit
church.
is in her. Right? There we go. We're about to start waving fans
You
here.
know?
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today, the one, the only Miss Sheree Fletcher.
Yay!
Yay.
I was wondering if I was going to get some applause.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
there
a
you
good
go.
thing.
We got
okay.
you. We got
That's
you.
all right.
We
I
got
feel
you.
very welcome.
We got you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
And you look fabulous today as
well,
well.
you know, I mean, I was coming here. I had to be fabulous.
Yeah,
You
there
got
you go.
fab in the title.
Exactly.
Right.
I had to
Exactly.
be. I had to be hip, and I had to be fab, and I am Christian.
So she
So I
encompasses
feel, I'm you. I am who? Yes, I embody.
your body.
Yes,
We
the whole
created the
brand,
show
who you are.
for her.
There we go.
Yes,
Right.
that's
There
what
we
I say.
go.
It's the Trinity. The Trinity.
There you go.
You know?
Exactly.
It is.
And speaking of hip, you know, that's part of this show is about. We want to show you that, you know what, you can be a Christian, you can be fabulous, and you can be hip as well. You know, there is nothing wrong with wearing your faith on your sleeve and, you know, being able to congregate with everyone out there. This is a non-judgmental, loving panel show, and we're glad that you're joining us.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Always.
I'm still trying to find my hip bone in my body. I don't think I got it, so I'm going to learn from Lem because he's the
Right.
hippest person there is. So
Right. Super.
Let's get started.
let's you know what? Yes, let's get moving with the show. Speaking of hip, Lem,
Yes.
Lem, I know you're going to get us started in one of my favorite games
Yes.
that we do here on Hip Fab Christian. Let us
Yes, it is the icebreaker game, and what we do is we have a list of icebreaker questions. And what we're going to do, Sheree, is we always like to do this with our guests, but we like to try it out with one of the hosts so you can kind of get how it goes.
Okay.
And then so you can fill
I'm
it
a
out.
quick learner.
You're a quick learner.
Yeah, I'll hop
so
on board.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, and I'm just going to ask a few questions to Megan over here, my beautiful co-host, and then you'll see what we're doing.
I got
So it's going to be rapid fire though.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So
okay.
rapid fire.
Okay.
So Megan, the questions are 1 through 47.
What?
So yeah, listen. So what you have to do is you tell me a number. I'm gonna ask you that question. You give me the answer, and then we keep it moving. You
so
give me
I
another
keep
number.
giving you a number.
You keep giving me a number
Okay.
after you answer the question.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Go.
7.
7. Favorite cuisine.
Lean cuisine.
Okay.
Is that a type of
22.
No, it's
You know, it's rapid fire. 22.
proudest moment.
When I lost 40 pounds.
Okay.
3.
3. What was the last film you saw at the movies?
The new X-Men, Future Past Days, something like that.
Okay, it was the X-Men.
27.
Days of Futures
27.
Past,
There
it's
it is.
called.
27.
27. Pets. Any pets?
No, I'm allergic to pet dander.
Okay, done. All right,
Okay.
that's it.
Okay.
So you see, Sheree, that's
I
how we
got
do
it.
it. You got it?
I'm
Go
a
for
pro.
it,
I
girl.
got it.
Okay, so Justin is going to give you some amazing music, and
Okay.
it's going to go for a minute.
All right, well, let me.
So we're
I
going
don't
to see.
see. Y'all didn't give me a table.
Oh,
to put
no.
my
You
stuff
know,
down on.
It's yeah. You can
Go
just
ahead.
set it
Just
down
put it
right
on,
there, just
okay.
right next to it. That's
Because
cool.
I use my hands when
Yeah.
I talk, so I don't want to.
Okay, we want you to be
flying
free
and-
to do what you
Okay.
need to do. So you're
Yes.
going to see how many questions we can get
Okay.
in a minute's time. So
Very
Justin,
good.
when you're ready, hit it. All right, give me a number.
The Jeopardy.
8. What foods do you dislike?
8. Milk.
Milk. Okay, another number.
12.
12. Favorite sandwich?
Grilled cheese.
Okay.
32.
32. What is your favorite flower?
Peonies.
Peonies. Okay.
36.
36. What is your favorite food?
Ooh, Italian.
Italian. Okay.
11.
11. 11 is what kind of car do you drive?
Range Rover.
Okay.
2.
2. Diamonds or pearls?
Oh, diamond.
Okay.
But of course.
You see how she said that?
But of course.
Of course.
Woman's best
Next
friend.
number.
21.
21. Most embarrassing moment.
When I farted really loud in the 6th grade. That was embarrassing.
All right, we shut it down. We shut it down. Y'all give it up for Sheree. That was amazing. We'll just close it on that. That was dope. That was dope. I
I'm
love
sorry.
it. I love it. No, it was great. It was great.
See, that's the thing, y'all. Those rapid fires, you don't give people time to think and
Right, and it
censor.
just
Because I
comes out.
sure enough would have never said
Oh
that.
no, we love you to keep it
But that's-
organic.
but that's
here.
how we
Being
do
the
it.
hip,
We love
fab
that.
Christian woman that
Exactly.
I am,
Yeah.
I would have never said the F word.
No, it's all good. We love it.
And
Okay.
we show you that Christian spark too. All right, there's
Right,
nothing wrong.
right.
Nothing wrong.
Speaking of which, am I the only one that doesn't know what a peony or
A
peony?
peony.
Peony.
You don't
good.
know?
I have
Oh
You
my
don't know,
God.
man? Are you serious? No, I don't know. either. I'm
It's
just
like
playing.
a rose on crack.
On whoa,
Like, I mean,
on
it's just
crack.
got, like, it's a rose.
And it's gorgeous.
But it's got a lot of petals.
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of, it's like a ball with petals.
Right.
And it's
Okay.
like I said, it's a rose on steroids.
Rose on steroids.
That's what it looks like.
I'm gonna have to get my
Gorgeous.
girlfriend some peonies
Okay.
next. Not
Peonies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just
That-
sounds like you said it, peonies. No.
Oh, see? I thought this was a Christian show.
Right, exactly.
Hey, you know, hey, in your marriage, whatever freaky stuff you want to do, you know, hallelujah to that.
Yes.
Right, right.
Whether that's
Peonies.
pennies, panty, anyway.
Peonies.
But are they peonies
Yeah.
or peonies? See, some people say peonies and some people say peonies. You should probably say peonies because
Yes.
it don't sound like panties.
I know, right? I'm gonna just keep it
do
with
that.
peonies.
There you go.
Peonies, all
There you
right.
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
yeah.
So the next part of our show, we always do an interview. We just want to know a little bit about you.
Oh, yes.
That's
Ask
Sheree,
away.
well, get in your business.
Get in my business.
Exactly. Exactly. I told you the interrogation was coming.
I'm good with being interrogated.
Oh, awesome,
I'm
awesome.
good.
Where were you the night of May 29th, approximately 11:29
I
p.m.?
can't even remember where I was 10 minutes ago. So we can't answer that one.
Right.
Well, first one is not going to be anything like that. All right. Obviously, this show is about being Christian and spiritual. So, our first question to you is, how did spirituality play a huge part in your life growing up, or when did it start to play a significant role in your life?
Well, my dad, his family was Catholic, so we went to church, once a year, literally on Easter. That was it. That's all that I knew. I did make my first communion. I had to go to catechism, but that just. It just didn't feel right to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like you were it's going through the motions. It's
Yeah.
doing what you have to do.
Very
but
structured.
I've always believed, I've always felt the presence of God, the goodness of God in my life. And as I got older, I wanted to search and see what that was. And, God he orders your steps. So one thing led to another. And when I moved to California, I had some friends that were going to Bishop Noel Jones's church. And I started to go there and actually got saved at Bishop Almer's church in 87.
That's my church.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
It was Blake.
Oh,
It was.
Oh, Charles Blake.
It was Blake. It was Blake. It was
Bishop
Bishop
Blake.
Blake. I'm
Okay.
sorry. You got
It's
so
okay.
excited.
Who's that?
I
She
hate
did.
that.
She did. She got crunk over
But it's
there.
a Christian show. I can't roll with a lie.
Right, exactly.
I had to correct my mistake.
Right.
So I got saved in 87. Didn't really know what a saved life was because I didn't get planted in a church home. And in 2000, I said, you know what, God, I'm ready to do this your way. And let me tell you, the step that came before that, I was dating a guy whose mom was just a beautiful, beautiful person. She was saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. She gave me my first Bible, and today she's still my spiritual mom. And actually, when I leave here, I'm going to have dinner with her because she's visiting.
Right.
Yeah, so
Nice.
and that was it. So that was the seed that was planted. She gave me that Bible, and just making dumb mistakes in life. You know what I mean? Just doing one thing after another, and realizing that my way was not working out.
Yeah.
So I
Amen.
said, I just need something. I need something more.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to do it your way.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I think a lot of times, we try to walk our own path.
Yeah.
And try to do what we feel is best for us, not knowing that God already has predestined
Yes.
everything that we have in mind.
You better preach.
What was that?
You better preach.
Oh,
I got
okay,
$1.
well.
I'm about to give you an offering.
$1? All
Oh,
right.
shoot.
That is good. We actually do take tithes and offerings on the show. We'll get
It'll
to
help
that
him get
later on.
his peonies.
Yeah, right.
He needs that. Yeah,
Peonies.
exactly.
You're silly, man.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, I want to say, first of all, congratulations on
you.
Hollywood Exes. You've been on there for 3 seasons now,
Yes.
so great job with that.
Thank you.
My question is as a woman of God, what has been the most challenging part that you feel like putting your life on display? Obviously, it's on TV. You know,
Yeah.
millions of people watch that. What has been the most challenging part that you've encountered doing that and living a life?
I think just as a human being, just as a person, just putting your life out there is difficult, because what happens is you basically put yourself on the front line and you give people the opportunity to have an opinion
Oh, yeah.
Right.
about something they really don't know anything. They see a piece of,
Right.
you see a fragment of a whole. So I think that's been difficult. And then being a Christian and being married to a pastor, I'm put in this little old teeny tiny box.
Yeah.
And that becomes difficult.
Right.
Because people have an expectation and a perception
Right.
of what I should
yeah.
do, what I
Right.
shouldn't do, what I
Absolutely.
should say, what I shouldn't
Right.
say. So, but you got to shake all that off. You really do. You shake the dust off and you got to keep it moving. I think we do have a responsibility. However, you have to give yourself grace. You have to be patient with yourself and let yourself go through the process. So I think that's the most difficult part, balancing responsibility with being true to who you are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And allowing yourself that, like I said, the freedom and the space to make mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Was there any backlash from your church when they found out that you, like the first season of Hollywood Exes? Was there anything that people said, "Ooh, First Lady, no"? Don't do that.
Yes, but they didn't say it to my face.
Oh.
Of course, people don't come up to you and
Message
and
boards.
say,
Right.
hello. The pastor got the brunt of it, who happens to be my husband. But I remember, addressing the congregation, and I get it because people don't know.
Yeah.
So now you're in a nail salon or you're in a hair salon, and you hear people talking about your first lady. How do you handle that?
Exactly.
So if we did the congregation a disservice by not preparing them, and we didn't know how to prepare them because we didn't know. This
Right.
was the first season. I didn't know what it was going to be like.
Exactly.
But my thing is, and what I told our church is that your support is welcome. I welcome your support, and I would love to have your support. However, it's not necessary.
Right.
Because my process is my process, and I have to feel. Well, I have to do what I feel God has called me to do. I have
Right.
to
Exactly.
be obedient. And if it grieves your spirit, don't watch it. You know what I mean? Because you have to guard your heart and your mind.
Of course.
So I'm called to that house as a first lady, not a girlfriend. So the show shows me as a girlfriend, as a
Right.
friend. I'm nobody's first lady on
Right.
that's not our dynamic. So it could be hard to swallow and hard to
Sure.
watch. And I just didn't want, people feeling like, oh, we have to watch because we want to support her. You can pray for me.
Right.
Really, if it grieves your spirit, and I
Right.
can't control what everybody else does on the
Of
show,
course.
then
Yeah.
you don't. Yeah.
Of course. It's you kind of answered a portion of that question, how you feel about your congregation,
Yeah.
but how do you think that there was any effect, or did you worry about any effect of non-believers, people like you said that are not part of your church, or just see you as what you may have been before or outside of the scope of the church?
I don't think I understood that question.
Go ahead and specify, Lem.
Okay, I'll say it differently. Obviously, you were mentioning about how the people in your church and how there was, you said there was some concern and people, feeling a backlash, and you said, you just have them pray for you. My thing is, do you think that you had any bearing on what you felt non-believers or people in the world per se outside of your church? Did you think that there was going to be any problem, or were you worried about how you would be perceived on TV?
Yeah, and you gotta let that go because you're never going to make everybody happy. You're just not. And I'm in a weird position because I can, non-believers will look at me and say, "Oh my God, she's so spiritual, holier than thou," and believers will say she's not spiritual enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. You just at the end of the day, it's really you and God.
Right.
Yeah.
It really is.
That relationship
It's
that
that
you guys have.
relationship. And I really feel that a big part of my assignment and my ministry is to women. And it's not just women in the church because we're called to be the church and to go into the world.
Right.
So that's what I feel. So I have to be accessible. I can't come off too spiritual and holier than thou where you can't even relate or connect to me.
Right.
So God knows what he's doing. I always don't.
Right.
You
Yeah,
understand?
right.
And all I can do is just say yes, because I always say obedience does not require understanding.
Right.
He'll reveal things as you go along, but you say yes when he tells you to do it.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hey,
Yeah, I need an
You
offering.
proceed. There you go.
I'm gonna give you an offer. Where's my
Hello.
wallet?
Right?
Where's my wallet?
Hallelujah. I'm going to buy some panties.
We're never going to let that one go.
No,
we're not.
Never going to
not,
let it
we're
go.
not.
We're not.
I'm going to actually Google peonies to see exactly how it's pronounced.
How
and
you think
whatnot.
you spell it? I'm putting you right on the spot.
Oh, God. P-O-A-N-I-E.
All wrong.
No.
P-E-O. Start with P-E-O.
P-E-O. Now, is that French or something? It sounds like
Peony?
know
It could
what?
be.
peonies.
It could be.
Hallelujah. Okay.
Peonies. It could be
It
French.
just sounds so proper.
I don't
It's a French
know.
flower.
Elegant.
But
It's
they're
a-
gorgeous.
it's a French
You
flower
gotta
cabbage.
Google that, baby. I'm
They're
sorry.
fab.
You
You-
got to Google it. Google
I am. Do one of them things where they actually articulate the word for
Right.
you.
There you exactly. Exactly.
At least we know what the word of this episode is.
That is the word. The word.
Now, moving on. One of the things that I found interesting that you were talking about is being a first lady and having this expectation and kind of being put into a box. And, for lack of better words, kind of, I guess, having pressure in order to fulfill that role.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. You were once married to a box office superstar, international celebrity. And now you are married to a pastor as a first lady, and I'm just curious, which one of those roles brought more pressure to you?
That's a good question. I would say the role of being a first lady.
And how so?
Well, first of all, I've been a first lady longer than I was, this marriage has lasted longer than the first marriage.
Yeah.
So, it's the perception, it's the box that people want to put you in. And the thing is, when I met my husband, at the time I met him, when we started to date, he was a professional football player.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't a pastor.
Yeah.
We dated 6 months before I found out he was ordained. But the friend of mine that introduced us, I said to her, she's like, I got somebody I want to introduce you to. I said, he has to be saved because that's where I am in my life. It was it was about 2 years after I got saved. So I knew he was saved, but I didn't know he had aspirations and it's not even aspirations, it's a calling.
Right.
God calls you, and most
Exactly.
most
In
pe-
ministry.
yeah, exactly. So he just answered the call. But that is pressure. There is pressure to, like I said, and I really didn't feel it until I started doing the show. And it's not just our church. That's the thing. It's Christians. Sometimes Christians feel
Right.
like they own you, and
Right.
they don't want to share you, and,
Yeah.
and that's a weird thing.
So you're saying that you didn't feel the pressure until you started doing the show of
I
being a
really
first lady.
didn't feel the pressure.
Ah,
Exactly.
interesting.
Well, then,
Exactly, because my husband doesn't put a lot of I have my businesses. I'm busy. I have a very, very busy life. So I'm not there every Sunday.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's never put the pressure on me. You have to be here. You have to do X, Y, Z. He really gives me the space to live my life. And then we come together. I've been the director of our women's ministry for 7 years, so I am involved. But I never really felt the pressure. And it was so funny because before we got married, I remember people coming up to me, like first lady saying, "You sure you want to be a first lady?" And I was like, "What the heck does that mean?"
Wow.
Right.
What does that mean?
Not even
right?
familiar with the term.
I know what it means now.
Right?
No, it wasn't the term first lady, but it was just the role of.
Ah, okay.
So I'm like, well, that's what I mean. Like,
I
what
got you.
what do they mean
What are
by
they talking
that?
about?
And I
So it's like, what did I sign
you
up
know
for
what
again?
I'm saying?
Right.
Like, what in the world? But I figured out, you know, that, I figured it out.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now you talked about you do a lot of things. How do you balance being the first lady and being there for your church when obviously you had so many endeavors and things of that going on
Yeah.
to where it doesn't,
Yeah.
cause friction or...
Well, it does cause friction, and I do the best that I can. That's you're gonna disappoint some people. You're gonna fall short. I'm still trying to balance it all, and the
It's
drive.
a
Our
process.
church is in San Diego. We live in Chatsworth.
Oh, really?
Ooh, that's
So,
fire.
Oh.
we're talking about a 325-mile round trip drive.
Wow.
Wow.
So First Lady ain't there every week.
Right? Shoot.
So I watch Hollywood Exes, and I saw that in an upcoming episode, you have a tearful discussion with your husband
Yes.
about your role as a first lady and how you feel that he needs a first lady who should be there with him, and you say that it's not you. What is that about?
Well, first of all, you got to watch Hollywood Exes.
Absolutely.
What that was about, let me see, how can I say it without saying too much? That was a real thought. Because people was like, yeah, I mean, that was definitely real. I feel guilty. Sometimes I do. I feel guilty not being there, on a Sunday or being as involved as he might like me to be. Although he doesn't put that pressure on me. But still, I feel like, maybe you would be better served. And that's a thought that has gone through my head. Maybe there's somebody that's more right for him in this role. And that was a real honest, heartfelt moment that I had. And I feel guilty at times.
Yeah, y'all are not getting a divorce, though, right?
Not today.
Oh, goodness. But I say that would be an exclusive right there.
Not today.
Not today.
Breaking news
Right?
at Hip Fab Christian.
We are still very much together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Praise
awesome.
God. Praise God.
I just have a very simple
Yes.
question. And the question is, what achievement, and you've kind of said a lot, but what achievement in your life are you most proud of?
I think that I gave my son a praying mother. And he, you can't give people relationship. You can't do that, but you can expose them.
Right.
And that's what I did when I got saved. Trey was 8 years old, and I put him in church. And I'm telling you, he loves the Lord, and he is the most amazing young man. He's so kind.
Wow.
He's so compassionate. He's just so. I'm most proud of that.
That's a...
Yeah, and speaking of which, so your son, his father is Will Smith,
Yeah.
and I've seen a lot in newspapers and tabloids and everything that you have a very tight relationship with his father's family. It seems that you embrace his current wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. The kids all hang out together. Was that hard to do at the beginning, or was that always your mindset? Like, we have to make sure our families are intact, even though we're a blended family.
That was the mindset, but the reality of it, it was hard. It was difficult. I remember the first week, Trey met Jada, and Will told me, because we were just freshly, I don't even think we were completely divorced. We were going through the process, it takes 6 months, so we were waiting. He said, I'm going to introduce him. And I'm thinking like, oh man, my son is meeting another woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Right.
So I remember Trey coming home, and I said, so baby, did you have a good time? He said, yes. I said, so did you like Miss Jada? He said, Mommy, I really liked her. And it made me feel good because that meant she treated him
Right.
well.
Gotcha.
It
Yes.
really did. Then he said, can we get her a present? Now, that was a little difficult. That
Like,
was
hold
tough.
on. Slow your roll.
That was
Slow your
tough.
roll.
And that caught me off guard. And I was like, Yeah. So I just went upstairs in the closet and I just regifted something. Praise the Lord.
Right. She threw some peonies in a box. There you go.
There you go.
Them
But yeah,
babies.
so I remember like our first, it was the olive branch because the next time he went with his dad, I had the present in like a little gift bag, and I got a card, and the card was from me to her, and I just said thank you for making a great impression on my son. That was our first communicate. Well, that's not our first, but I mean that was our first communication in that
In that
situation. 'Cause
situation.
I had met her years before.
Right.
But yeah,
Wow.
That's
so
awesome.
So you never, I guess, the difficult being in that kind of situation, sometimes you may be afraid that someone else is taking your shoes as parent or something of
Yeah.
that sort. You never really had that concern with her.
No, no. You know what's funny? Because I know that is a real
Yeah.
issue. That was never my issue, and I think because my son and I spent so much time. I didn't have a nanny. Remember the comment? That's what was so upsetting about the
Right.
comment, the Will Smith money, because it
Right.
kind of took a shot at me as a mother. I didn't have a nanny. I mean, I had a great village, like my mother, my grandmother. They were around and they helped me, but I was very, very hands-on and very devoted to my son. And I didn't work. I made the choice not to, because I mean, I had career aspirations and goals and different entrepreneurial things I wanted to do, but I didn't think it was fair. Because I said, there's one parent that is not as present as, maybe we would like him to be, but that's
Yeah.
because he's off providing a certain lifestyle. And my son was exposed to the best schools in the world.
Yeah.
So I just felt he needs a parent
There.
that's hands-on, that's there, and I made that choice. So, I never felt threatened with my position
Okay.
with him. Like no. And even when he started calling her Mama J or something, and I remember a friend of mine looked at me when she heard it come out of his mouth. She's like, "That don't bother you?" And I said, "No, it doesn't, because if she wasn't kind to him, then he wouldn't be inclined to, you know what I mean? That
Right.
wouldn't come out of his mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a testament and a testimony of the way she treated him. And she's been amazing with my kid. What more could you ask for?
Right.
Right.
You know, what more could you ask for?
Exactly.
And I even saw pictures of when you got married to your husband, your current husband, that you had the Smith kids, Willow and Jaden, in your wedding party.
Willow was one of my little flower girls. We had 13 flower girls. That's because we don't know how to say no.
Right.
Right?
Obviously.
And,
Sure, she can do it.
Obviously.
Bring the bus.
oh my God! And Jaden and my nephew were the ring bearers. Yes, that was precious. And Trey walked me down the aisle. Trey and my dad. Trey on one side, my dad on the other. So it was beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
I think every divorced couple needs to tune in and watch how to make, to still be
Yeah.
friends and make things work afterwards, because that's such a struggle in so many,
Yeah.
well, I think,
And all you can do is your part. Like you
Right.
can't. But I'm
Right.
telling you, you just. I think you have to be very, very quick to forgive and realize it's not a competition.
right.
You want your child to have great parents, great
Yeah.
parents, great bonus parents. You want them to have a great experience. So
Yeah.
if you put them first, if you truly put them first, it will fall into place.
And I
That
think-
right there is a
yeah.
book. That is a book
Oh,
right
I'm
there.
writing it.
Oh,
yeah.
Trust me.
There it is.
Yes,
Speak
sir.
it in. Speak it in.
And I think you said it very well, is that having God in your life, I'm sure, helped that process.
Yeah,
Because I
yes.
think if you didn't have God in your life like you do now, and that you did then you probably wouldn't have been able to, like you said, forgive or be able to associate in that manner. So that's a key
Exactly.
component that
Yeah,
God was very faithful.
absolutely. Yeah, my spirituality and just being rooted in God, absolutely, was definitely a key component.
That is the key. Now,
Yeah.
speaking of books and things of that
Uh-huh.
sort, we're moving into another topic this week, and we recently lost one of the most legendary just poets, artists, extraordinaires
Yes.
of our generation, actually of several generations. I don't
Right,
think it was just
right.
one generation, several generations, but
Yes.
Megan is going to take it away from here and do some
The
fun.
hot topics of the week, as we do every time we are here on our wonderful show. and we like to discuss it with our guests.
Yes.
So we'll talk about the legendary author, Dr. Maya Angelou, who died this week at the age of 86. Such a beautiful soul.
Yes.
A poet,
Yes.
a playwright, an actress. An
Activist.
activist.
Yeah.
Everything.
Philanthropist.
A scholar.
Everything
I
under the
like
sun.
everything.
She was a
Everything
dancer
under the
too.
sun.
I didn't even know
She was a
that.
dancer.
Oh,
She
wow.
traveled
I saw.
the world.
Yeah, I saw
dancing.
something. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
at
I just
that.
got excited with all her.
I think she was amazing, and when you read about her life, you see that she was so free and open, and she just lived life. She did every job imaginable. She just went and lived, and that to me is probably the biggest influence that Dr. Maya Angelou has had in my life. So what about you, Sheree? Has Dr. Angelou, has she done anything or influenced you in any way?
Yeah, I don't think you could be in this life and not have been influenced by this woman's courage and just her tenacity, and like you said, just her openness, and she exuded so much love and grace, you know. And I mean, she just made you feel like you could just do anything, especially
Yeah.
as a black woman,
Right.
you know. So yeah, so we honor her, we celebrate her, and what a jewel she is.
Jewel.
I mean, jewel.
Great word. Yeah, jewel.
Right.
And
She
still
is.
is. I mean, even though she's not with us in
Right.
the body,
Yeah.
we have her, you know.
Yeah. And what do you think for our upcoming generations? Because it seems like, we all have been around in an era where there's people alive who fought in the civil rights struggle, who basically helped our people move from one type of lifestyle to another, which is back in the day, we weren't allowed to eat in certain restaurants. We weren't
Oh, yeah.
allowed to, congregate and
Segregation was
Right.
real.
We
Yeah.
can do what we can now do what we couldn't do before. What do you think is going to happen for these upcoming generation, our children and their children, if we don't have people like Dr. Angelou?
I think we have more of a responsibility to keep the legacy alive and to have that open dialogue and to just, teach them and educate them and let them know about these amazing people that really paved the way for things that we take for granted,
Right.
that are just a normal part of our lives. So I think that's our part as a parent. We have to, because you can't always depend on the school system
Right.
Right.
to give them that. You have to teach them who they are, and they should be proud of that.
Definitely.
Not in a prideful way, but in a confident way, in a way that leaves them inspired and feeling really good. You can hold your head up.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
she was actually for me. I'm on top of the other things that I do. I'm a poet, and I'm very passionate about that. Tattooed on my arm, and
I thought that was a microphone for hip hop. It said
no.
Snoop Dogg underneath.
It did
You
not.
sure
Hello,
that's?
twisting on. Hello, twist.
Yeah.
No, it is on there for poetry. Thank you very much. But when I started writing, her poems and the things that she wrote was definitely inspiration for me in order to pursue, what I do now. And I've been doing it for about 12 years now. And so, I'm actually working on a piece in memoriam of her.
Awesome.
To kind of just capitalize that. Yeah. So
Can you give us a little taste?
I said I'm working on it. I mean, just not
Hey,
done. So
Are you going to
it's
say
in
that you're
process.
a phenomenal woman?
Phenomenal
no, I'm
man.
not. No, I'm not.
You're going to call it phenomenal man?
It's going to be called Peonies Peonies for the dog. No, it's not. But yeah.
I know why the cage piano sings.
I love it.
Okay, say
I still can't say it.
Horrible,
Look what
man.
you've done, Sheree.
You see, I'm a hashtag peonies on everything that I do from now on.
That's
Just see
funny.
that.
Right.
you should do
People
that.
get it. I
Yeah,
love it.
exactly. What was that?
What was that?
I don't know. Jessica, can you play that one more time?
Hell to the no.
Oh yeah.
Love it. All right. So our next big topic of the week had to do with the Isla Vista murderer who he was in Santa Barbara in an area called Isla Vista where there's a ton of college kids, and he shot and killed 6 people, or he stabbed 3, and then he shot and killed 3 others, and then he killed himself. And he wrote a 141-page manifesto entitled My Twisted World. And it's this gentleman here, Elliot Rodger, who was 22. He said in his manifesto that the killing, or what he called the Day of Retribution, was based upon how he was treated by women. He was a 22-year-old virgin, and he was mad because he said, I'm going to give humanity one more try. I feel like, sex is evil and these women are evil, but I'm going to give him one more try or else I'm going to have this day of retribution. So he went out that night and got beat up. He got his leg broken. I mean, it was really bad. And so that's why he decided, these women, I hate them. I'm going to kill all these women that rejected me.
So a woman broke his leg?
No, well, a woman didn't break his leg. Apparently she broke his heart. I don't know. Yeah, I think he got in a fight.
Lord
From
have
what I
mercy.
understand, he was just a little socially awkward. And so I think that probably played a part of it. But he said that all of this could have been avoided if he had just lost his virginity. And I don't mean to laugh, but the question that I have is, can we blame society partially for the emphasis that we put on sex equals winning?
Absolutely, 100% Lee, with no.
Percently.
making up
He's making up words today. All right.
He can't say regular ones, so then he makes up his own.
Can we
That's
blame
how it goes.
Can we blame society,
Yeah.
or is it strictly like, sorry, Elliot Rodger, this is all you?
No, I think, and if I don't mind me taking it first, which I kind of already did, but the thing is, I do believe this day and age with society. Well, first of all, sex sells, and I've just never seen sex being so prevalent on everything from media to to every outlet of life. You see sex, and men particularly, there's a lot more pressure, I believe, by society applied on them to lose their virginity, to get some, to be promiscuous, all those other things, because you hear that in the music. I mean, I'm sure we can all name a song right now that talks about getting laid and all that other good stuff. I'm not saying that his actions should be excused because of the societal pressure on him, because obviously there was some mental illness and some other things that played a part in it, which should not be excused at all. But I do think the society is just extremely, the secular world in general can push certain agendas a lot, and sex, particularly with being a young man, is one of them that is just pushed on you. I remember when I was a young man, it was like, if you ain't getting laid, then you ain't,
You're not
getting
winning.
played. You're not winning. Yeah, exactly.
Right. You're less of a man or something like that.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
What do you feel about that, Sheree? Especially because you have a young man, you have a son who might be feeling pressures like this. How do you feel, and what do you do to say, it's not about that?
I don't think Trey would ever have a problem getting a date. I'm just saying, I don't think he had a problem getting a
I think
date.
he got that pressure.
He's a handsome young man, but is
He
it
got
true?
that pressure. That's hilarious. She ain't got that pressure.
The societal pressure of a young man in particular, having to have sex and have it prevalently with a lot of women all the time.
That's just insane.
Right.
The whole thing is so, yes, the media is terrible, and like you said, it's so prevalent. There are sexual innuendos and overt sexual messages everywhere you look. I mean, just check your daggone spam.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
If you send me an advertisement for a penis enlargement, I have no penis. I have no need for a penis.
Just forward that to me then.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, gee.
That was a joke. Go on.
So, but I'm saying it's like you're not even looking for it, and
Right.
bam, there it is.
Yeah.
So it really kind of comes and gets you. So I know that there probably is pressure. I'm not a man, so I don't know the kind of pressures that men have. I don't know what that feels like to have that pressure. He obviously had some really, really, really deep psychological things happening.
Oh, yeah.
And I would venture to say, I don't know his history. I certainly didn't read the memoirs that he left behind and have no, plans to do so. But somewhere along the line, he opened the door to something very demonic, and he couldn't shake it. Overtook him.
And
That can't just be you didn't
Right.
get
Exactly,
none and
just
you
by-
mad and you're
and
gonna
that's
kill
it.
that. I don't buy that.
No.
Right.
And then you made a great point that he opened the door for something, an evil that overtook him. And I think a lot of times, I think society as a whole, the secular industry or the secular world, if you want to call it media, they want to excuse things away and use secular terms like, he was a virgin, or, he had mental issues, which that was all prevalent.
Yes.
But that doesn't cause you, there's other people that are virgins or that may have mental issues that don't go around killing people.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think the key word that you said is that he opened the door for that. And I think when you open the door for that, you have no control over, what happens
Yeah.
to you. And I think that this is a case, and we've seen this unfortunately in America in a lot of situations.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, it's been
Yeah.
it's been happening rampantly, and
Yeah.
it's really sad. And this is very, very close to home.
Yeah.
So for us that live here in Southern California, but I think these people that have done this, they have opened the door to something that was evil or demonic that overtook them, and this is what they did.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
You got to guard
Agreed.
your gates, your eye gates, your ear
Right.
gates.
Absolutely.
everything.
Exactly.
Guard
Absolutely.
Everything.
And cast out demons, anything that's,
Hello.
anything that's not of the Lord in you,
That's
know.
right.
But obviously, unfortunately, it looked like this, it looked like he had no relationship with God. And what I found was interesting about the story was his parents actually had already known about, they had seen some cases and they had seen some
Right.
signs, warning signs, and they actually had already got law enforcement involved. This was about 2 to 3 months before this massacre
Right.
It was actually
occurred.
a month ago.
Or it was a month ago.
A month ago.
Yeah, I mean, that recent,
It's really
and
close.
he was able to, I guess,
Well, because the police went to his house, like, your
Yeah.
parents are worried that you're trying to do something
What
crazy.
are the police? But because it is spiritual, there's nothing that the police
Right.
are going to be
Right.
able to do. It was a
Right.
spiritual matter, and the parents most likely didn't understand spiritual things because if it was a black mama, she'd have put a doused
put something on
whole
his
body
head.
in oil.
I rebuke of anything
Right.
inside, any demon.
You know?
he would have took a bath in blessed oil. She would have, yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, so it's really and I know we're laughing, we're making light of something that's very, very serious, but it really is unfortunate.
It is.
Right.
And people just need Jesus.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes. So then our last hot topic of the week has to do with Hollywood Exes on VH1. You can catch them every Wednesday at 9/8 Central. So in episode 4, you ladies are talking to Drea Kelly, who is the ex-wife of R. Kelly, about her new upcoming shotgun-ish type of marriage. And you're talking to her about getting prenups. All of you ladies are talking about this. So that's what the discussion
Now, I
is.
wasn't there, remember?
Oh, yes.
I
My
had
apologies.
something real in real life to do. I couldn't be there.
Right.
So I
then
missed
we'll,
that
we'll
whole-
talk about it now.
Yes, we will.
prenups
You'll get my
because-
take.
This is because
Oh,
it's a
Lord.
big topic, especially with Christian people. Should you or should you not get a prenup? Do you believe that prenups have a place in godly marriages? Why or why not?
Let me tell you, that's a tough question. And people would say, no, they're not. No, we didn't do a prenup. That's not, I kind of felt like it's like going in with an out plan.
Right.
But this is what I do know. The person you marry and the person you divorce are two different people.
Right.
Feel what I'm saying? That was
Yes,
deep.
Right.
that was deep.
That was deep,
I
Mr.
took,
Poet.
I
Did
took
you
a
get
moment. You see me taking that moment. You see me taking them. I was like, oh, okay.
But it's real.
Yeah.
So you don't know the person that you're going to go through a divorce with. You have no idea who that person is. Because if you did, you wouldn't have married.
Wouldn't have married.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
And hence the divorce.
And hence the divorce. Now, I do believe that matter of fact, I have a friend who has some things. She got married and she has a daughter. And there are certain things that belong to the daughter that she's trying to secure and protect.
Right.
I get that. I get it. And I think sometimes as Christians, we're not practical. We don't
Right.
want to do our due diligence. Every situation is different.
Right.
I wouldn't sit here and say, no, you
Right.
don't do a prenup. God allowed divorce because of the dysfunction of
Right.
people. You
Exactly.
understand? So
Exactly.
I
Or the
think-
infidelity of people.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're spiritual, but we can't ever be so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. So we have to be practical too.
Yeah.
And that's my take.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you ain't got nothing, then you don't need a
There's no
prenup.
point. Right.
I know. I always struggle with that too, especially being a woman, because a lot of times women are like, "Would you ever?" Men are so particular about this. I don't want to marry a woman who just wants me for my money, that kind of thing.
Well, fortunately, I don't have that problem, so I don't think anyone that would be.
But no, I really thought about this, and I thought, is it wrong for a woman, especially a woman of God who loves God and truly believes in the blessings and the truth that God provides? Is it wrong if I wanted to get a prenup or if I didn't want to get one. And so, of course, me being the little Bible scholar that I am, I looked it up to see does the Bible talk about prenups. And it does, in a way, in both the Old Testament and the New Testament. However, I think we as society nowadays have gotten it twisted, because in the Old Testament and the New Testament, they talk about like a dowry, a bride price, which I guess in Hebrew they call a mohar. So essentially, when a man and a woman get married, the man has to pay the father of the bride for her. And what this amount of money is, it's for basically alimony. In the event something happens to me, I divorce her, I leave her, whatever.
I die. Yeah.
This money I'm giving to you to invest so that you can take care of her. Because in those societies, women didn't work. Their livelihood depended on a man. So if you left her, she had nothing.
Yeah.
She had no one to support her. And so for me, I feel like those were agreements that they would put together, and they would say, this is how much, this is everything.
It's an insurance plan. It's a backup plan. And that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Now, let me, in my case, Marion will. Listen to him.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
In all of our cases, for the most part, we were stay-at-home moms. Because that was the agreement. You go ahead, you do your thing, you provide.
You be the provider.
You be the provider, and I'll stay here with the kids. So when the marriage breaks up, why should I leave with nothing?
Right.
When I helped build something.
Right.
You understand? So, but again, see, sometimes you got to have that stuff spelled out, because the person that you divorce, people say, no, I'd never do. You never know what somebody will
what they're capable of doing.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Like you said,
Especially in a divorce situation, because it really does, and I see why God hates divorce, because it brings out the worst in everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, you know, I think my only issue with the prenup, and even though we've just biblically got it affirmed here.
It's not really a prenup. We can't really call it that, because we don't want to get it twisted.
Well, that is true. That is true. But at least now, bringing it back to modern days, is, you know, it's kind of like you are premeditating divorce, a potential divorce. And I understand, you know, things change.
You take vitamins?
Do I take vitamins? No, I'm 100% all natural.
So you don't take any vitamins?
I take vitamin C.
So are you premeditating sickness?
Well, actually, I am, because I'm not the most healthiest person.
Okay. So
And I know that I don't consume healthy foods for my body.
See,
I need to redo the anatomy to see what foods I should be taking in. But anyways, but you're right. I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, it's something you're setting it, and that is true. You know, but then again, you know, and I'm just playing devil's advocate.
And I'm doing the same thing, because
Yeah.
we didn't, you know, I went in thinking, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to have an out plan. I don't want to protect myself
Yeah.
from the man that I'm giving myself to. From
Exactly.
the man I love, and I don't want him trying to protect himself from me.
And it really, you know, with the whole two becoming one, you know, I think that's kind of when you're doing a prenuptial agreement, it's still like saying, well, I'm still going to protect myself, like you said, and hold this away. So we're not going to quite merge there. I mean, we're still both protected. And, you know, it's a difficult thing, because, you know, it's kind of like, well, yeah, you know, you want to take a leap of faith. And that's what dating, you know, you just discover this person, everything about them. And, you know, you want to believe that this is going to be an eternal love. And that's, you know, that's part of my issue with prenup. But then again, when it's time for me to sign it,
statistics though?
Exactly, 51% or 48. I don't know what it is.
Right.
And the church has said it's worse.
It's higher, yeah. In the church,
I
it is higher.
understand. It's a difficult thing.
Right,
It's
but
difficult.
I think that the problem here is that we forget, even if you have a prenup, you have to remember God is always the God and the defender of the vulnerable. He always goes for those who cannot help themselves. He's always about the widow, the sick, the homeless. He's helping these people who cannot help themselves, which is all of us, which we need to realize. But in the same essence, that's what, if you're going to get a prenup, you have to keep that in mind. So then the prenup can't be about, for me, I believe a prenup cannot be about, I'm going to try to, I don't know, make my assets be more safe. because then
Protect-
then,
yeah.
then it's a selfish move. The prenup should be like, in the event we get divorced, whoever is broker
Yeah.
needs to get half or something like that, because it's always about defending the defenseless or helping those who are less vulnerable. And I think if we remember that, the more people be like, you know what, we probably don't need to get a prenup. We
Right.
probably just need to ride this thing out to the
Right.
very end. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
It's a little harder. I don't know.
Well, I also think that
Yeah.
nowadays society pushes divorce as an option. Where, before, if I look at my grandparents or back, divorce really wasn't an option. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain, if you're being physically abused or, the Bible spells it out perfectly, adultery and, help me out. What is the other, where permission is given for divorce? I don't know.
Murder, death.
Yeah, something like
There's
that.
a lot.
There are circumstances
You
where
didn't get your peonies
I
on
would
time.
endorse.
I mean, it's just a lot. It's a lot.
But I mean, it even says in Matthew 19, that was
Right.
when Jesus is talking about it, that was never God's plan. But he allowed Moses to give that to
Right.
the people because of their dysfunction.
Yeah.
So that was never, God never wanted us to be divorced.
That's true. That is
But and
very
I think Sheree said it best, is that it's not for everybody.
Right.
You didn't do it in your marriage now. But some people, it may need to be an option for them because of
Exactly.
their situation.
Exactly.
So I think if you look at it in that tone, I think that works best.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the consensus that is, a prenup, definitely something that you can consider. It's not a bad thing because people change. There's dysfunctions that happen. There's things that occur. But just talk it over with your spouse and come
the
to
Lord.
and the Lord. Include God.
Lord.
Include
Praise
God
Lord.
and all of that
Please do
stuff.
that.
And speaking of God, we're unfortunately we're running out of time here, so we're going to wrap it up. But our inspiration of the week is Psalm 34:1. And as you guys can see right there,
Yes.
I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually. Everyone say continually.
Continually.
Look at your neighbor and say, it will continually be in my mouth.
Lem, why did you pick that verse?
It speaks to me. I feel like it's actually tattooed as on my arm, and I do that because it's a reminder. I feel like whenever I'm going through something, I'm always going to know that I can bless the Lord at all times.
Right.
Amen.
His praise is always going to be in my mouth, no matter what I go through, because He's going to bring me out, and that's
Amen.
really the end of it.
Yep.
Sheree, do you
love
have a
it.
favorite Bible verse?
Yes, I like the one that says, don't, and I can't remember right now where it is in the Bible, but it's definitely the New Testament. And it says that not to fix your eyes on, I think it's 2 Corinthians, not to fix your eyes on what is seen, but what is unseen, because what is seen will pass away, but what is unseen is eternal. And I think we have to shift and really focus more on spiritual things that really matter and really count.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of the unseen, Sheree, where can they reach you at? Because we don't have that up. That's why.
They can reach me at ShereeFletcher.com. I have a website. I'm on Twitter, Sheree Fletcher, SHEREE. I'm on Instagram, so I'm all over the place.
All
I
over
got
the
a
place.
Facebook. I'm easy to find.
She is ubiquitous
I'm
on social
accessible.
media.
Right.
Absolutely.
Do you, hold on, quick
And
question. Do you still make whoop
I
ash?
do.
Oh, and is it on your website?
Yes.
Oh, girl, 'cause my elbow's ashy.
See, I should have brought y'all something. Whoop Ash, WHOOPASH.com. They can go and buy the product
Oh,
too.
okay.
And she just said she'll give a 10% discount if you hashtag Poenies when you tweet her or any of that stuff.
And
Still
because you
didn't
said
say it right.
that,
Poenies.
none of that
What
Still
is
didn't
a
say it right.
poenie?
You know
Right,
what?
baby.
By the
Ain't
way,
nobody get no discount.
Ponies,
no one has to get a
panties.
discount. Whatever. Yeah.
There's no discount. Don't listen to ponies, man.
Right.
Okay. Well, Megan, where can they find you at?
As always, hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Meg Scoop, like Scoop of Ice Cream, and don't forget to check out VH1's Hollywood X's every Wednesday,
Yes.
9, 8 Central.
Yes.
Yes.
Brother Lem.
Yes, and you can find me at The Poet Saint, and that's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also on my website, saintpoetry.com, all day, every day.
And while we're on websites, please remember to subscribe to us on iTunes. Check the podcast out. We definitely like to hear your comments, your interaction as well. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HeyKevinJohn, or my website is kevinjohn.com. This has been another exciting episode of Hip
Yes.
Fab
Woo.
Christian. We want to once again thank the lovely
Yes.
and so knowledgeable Miss
My
Sheree
pleasure.
Fletcher for being
Pleasure.
here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
next week.
Such a
Yeah.
positive spirit there.
Thank you.
And on behalf of Lem and Megan, I am Kevin John. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Same time, same place.
Yes.
Boom.
Bye.
Be hip, be fab, and praise the
Christian.
Lord.
From producers Maria Menounos Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.